Welcome to Pick Me Up.
I'm your host,
Scared.
Mallory.
I'm your
The
co-host, David.
podcast.
I got a straw this time.
You got a straw. You really did. You're doing
moving
great.
out.
You are moving up in the world. And we are here today with part 2 of our episode on Lyndon LaRouche.
Yeah, and everyone missed. I can't even. Y'all, we did it off air because
We did.
the fucking psycho dream.
Oh yeah, David had the.
No,
We don't want to talk about
you can make oblique references. I'm just gonna say, if anyone is thinking about using nicotine patches,
it. They make you have very wild dreams. Apparently.
the most fucked up. I walked around in like shell shock all fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah. David's dream was basically that he was doing evil deeds for the dark side.
Yeah,
Very
and
evil
and
deeds.
convincing other people to just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very shocking. We've also been talking about dating.
The kids, they're conservative now.
The kids are a little conservative. It's a little concerning to me.
I mean, I feel like that, everyone knows that. That's boilerplate now. I'm sure that somewhere there's is salon.com still alive?
Let's see. Salon.com. Well, yeah, I was talking to David about how they're called Zoomers because so much of Gen Z has very conservative baby boomer ideology. Not everybody, obviously. Yes, Salon.com still alive.
No.
Wes Anderson's perfection leaves us cold is what they're talking about over on Salon.com. Don't check it out. It's not worth it.
That seems like a zombie website.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So yeah, we were just talking about dating, and I in particular was talking about how concerned I am with I understand feminism as an ideology has been so distorted in so many bizarre ways by liberalism. There are a lot of women in particular who I don't want to call myself a feminist anymore because this movement is so rife with problems and contradictions, and I understand that.
Mhm.
I also understand women who do want to call themselves feminists, whatever. But I think one of the wildest things to witness is that there is I'm going to call it an anti-feminist streak.
But it's going under the name.
But it's going under the name feminism. It's this weird misrepresentation. It's what's the word when it's a word that's doing the opposite? It's almost reactionary.
Oxymoron.
It's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
It's an oxymoron. So the new brand of feminism, I think that is trying to be pushed onto a lot of young women is adjacent to that trad wifey kind of content, but even if it's not hitting a conservative outward crowd. So in a conservative outward crowd, there's a lot, you know, David, there's a lot of trad wife content being pushed onto Gen Z on the internet.
Yeah, okay. Can I interject?
Yes.
So, I while you were saying that, I was reminded there's this I think if you are of our generation,
Yeah.
it's all you read the feminist classics or whatever,
Yeah.
and then if you're me, you talk to a woman about it at a
You talk
party.
to a woman?
Well, this is the first time. Yeah. At a party, and you never let her speak, but you're I read
Oh,
Feminine Mystique.
male
Yeah,
feminist.
yeah. And then she's I just went through this trauma, and you're cool, I'm gonna tell you about it. It's great. It's fucking, it works every time.
Yeah, it's great.
But one of the things I for a while I had this weird fascination with the generation of women who were just a few years too early to be young during second wavy 60s stuff.
Yes. Okay.
So Mary McCarthy, Diana Trilling,
Mhm.
Vivian Gornick, people like that, who, and Joan Didion, famously very conservative woman,
Yes.
right? And some of these people most of them I think worked at some point for noted CIA front, The Partisan Review.
Yes.
Which is a fabulous magazine in its way. You just have to take it with a grain of salt or
Take
whatever.
it as government propaganda.
Well, I mean, it's just they were, I think, legitimately committed liberals in a more classic
Yes.
sense that a lot of our favorite thinkers are like that.
I don't have favorite thinkers.
Okay, well, in any case, I keep thinking.
I hate a thinker.
Okay,
Down with thinking.
well, you fit right in with Gen Z.
No, I love Gen Z, though. Here's the thing. I think Gen Z, it's not their fault. I think that, look, they got thrown into such a fucked up, falling apart culture that they're there has to be an answer. And so much of what was popular throughout the mid 2000s to like 2020 was this hyper liberal idea of personal freedom that was pitched to you with infographics. And it turns out that liberalism with pastel infographics doesn't save the world.
You're talking about hectoring pussy hat.
Yes, exactly.
Motherfuckers.
This like very, I don't know, like supposedly intelligent and progressive and left-leaning like movement that actually was not left-leaning or progressive at all and was not a movement. It was a media campaign to uphold the status quo, but done with clever verbiage.
Oh, I described the song "The War" by Taylor Swift recently.
I don't know the song. I'm more of a Swiftie than I am. I've never heard Taylor Swift except for that one song. It's like, you can't come to the phone right now. Why?
Well, I've been becoming acquainted weirdly with Taylor Swift, who got her master's back a couple days ago, so she's going to be even richer. But I described it as what goes through Sheryl Sandberg's head while she's in bar class.
Who's Sheryl Sandberg?
The lean-in woman.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay, so the Gen Z, they're conservative.
So, yeah, I think that it's like something has got to give and something has to change because this didn't work. And it's like, hello, the answer is like actual left-wing politics. Please just have actual left-wing politics. That is progress. But instead, it's like a fall back and like it back into the welcoming embrace of extremely right-wing concepts. And it's the same concepts being marketed to supposedly progressive, quote unquote, people as it is to conservative people, just in different ways. So this trad wife ideology is pretty popular because it's being marketed to conservative women very obviously. Like, don't you just want to live on a farm and hang out with babies and bake all day and your husband handles all the hard stuff?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. But then it's also being marketed to progressive women like, in this way that's almost like it falls back on like excessive therapy speak. And this is what I always think of. It's like every man who doesn't instantly want to marry you and be monogamous with you is a toxic, gaslighting, narcissistic abuser.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whoa, like that is from my purview, it's discouraging a lot of women and like young women from being critical of the types of people they might want in their life, from dating casually without commitments, from having options and making educated decisions about who they want to pursue. And it kind of pushes this idea on both camps that the most important thing you can be is picked by a man. If a man just picks you, your life is going to be solid, but in these very, very different ways. So this is something like I've noticed where I'm like, oh my God, this is like really concerning. And I was telling David that I was on that app T. If you guys don't have it, it's very interesting. TEA, only women can join it. There are some turfy implications there that I haven't fully worked through ethically. And the app is just like a bunch of men getting reviewed with green flags or red flags. And you look at it and some of the red flags are fucking terrifying. They're like, hey, this man tried to murder me and my dog in our sleep. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, good job. You should warn women about this. But some of them are literally like we hung out a couple of times and then it turns out he was dating other people and didn't want to be my boyfriend. And everyone's like, what a loser, lying, scumbag, piece of shit. And I'm like, you were just describing dating. You also should not be ready to commit to the first man who shows interest in you. Because what if he's the kind of guy who later wants to kill you and your dog? And you're saying, not that it's like victim blaming. You can't tell, obviously. But you should have like some options. You should get to feel like you have agency in your relationships. You should get to feel that anybody you want to be around, you're choosing to be around them. I mean, even somebody who seems great could still try to kill you and your dog in your sleep, I guess. I think you cannot tell. Nobody has to be abused.
Scott Peterson many, many years.
Well, now there's this whole thing where people think Scott Peterson might be innocent, I guess. I don't really know.
I'm not
too when the crime community was canceling me. People were talking about Scott Peterson. I don't fucking know. But I think the main thing is that we are finding ways to pitch conservatism to just everybody. And for a certain type of progressive woman, it's almost like pitching conservatism as though it's empowering.
I mean, okay, so this is to go back to like the women who were like a little too old to experience like fucking Betty Friedan.
Yeah.
Or like where it was like here's my like Diana Trilling is like a good case in point of this, of like an extraordinarily disappointed woman who thought that her legacy, this is a funny story about her. So she thought her legacy was going to be that everyone would realize that her husband was a shitty writer and that she had edited everything he'd ever done.
Oh.
And then he burned all the drafts.
Whoa.
But she wrote this really interesting essay about, I think it's called On the Woman's Movement, which is also the name of a Joan Didion thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on the one hand, her critiques of the women's movement are like unfair and whatever and yada, yada, yada. But there's also like every now and again you get like distorted clown mirror view and you're like, well, this is actually, I see what she means. Right. And like the basic point.
Right critiques, wrong solutions.
Well, no, it's not even that it's the right critique. It's just like, oh, I understand what she's talking about. And like there might be a tiny little grain of truth among it not really being the case. And does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that totally is a thing that happens. Broken clock right twice a day.
Yeah, I mean, there's you're
like, girl, fuck you. This one thing almost makes sense though.
It almost makes it, but where there's like because she grew up in a generation where it's like, yes, at the partisan review parties, we're all like hard drinking and I'm gonna get my ass grabbed and that's just a part of the fucking situation, kind of vibe.
Lean in.
Different, but like, right. So she was like, oh, it's like this self-infantilization. She regarded like the women's movement as like a form of self-infantilization that couldn't deal with like adult sexuality.
Oh yeah.
Right. And like not true.
I don't think that's true. Yeah.
Not true. But you do see a sense of like every now and again I'll be like, I do see a sense of like among everyone, regardless of gender, a sense of self-infantilization around dating and sex that feels where it's like, I just want my emotional needs to be met, and anything that like challenges that is bad, like is like abusive, as opposed to just being like disappointing or annoying. Or does that make sense?
No, it totally does. I mean, yeah, there's a reason in my friend group, someone being a toxic, gaslighting, narcissistic abuser has almost become a joke because you're like, it's meaningless. People are not using these words to actually mean anything, and it's literally like, are you just describing someone who didn't want a third date with you, or like I think that I don't know, and all of that where you're like, I've been wronged, my feelings are hurt. When it manifests in this way that literally is like, I am upset a man did not pick me, like everything inside of me is like, don't go in there. Don't go in there. Like, don't give in to that feeling. Like, you should not be upset if a man does not pick you. Like, your life is more than being picked by a man. Please don't even consider this as a setback. Like, just whatever. You're not compatible. Move on. You will pick a better man for you if you are interested in men in the future. Like, this cannot be how you are like navigating social dynamics. And the first man that picks you is maybe not even a man you want to do that. And so I think that's like very, very hard for me because like looking through this app, I'm just like, how are you assigning the same value and ranking to a man who might literally physically harm you and kill you as a man who decided he wasn't that into it? And guess what? You probably wouldn't be that into that guy either.
No, I mean, this is like the other thing is like, I know well the experience of romantic disappointment. Right. Madeline is looking at me like, I didn't know those two words could go next to one. What? But right, like,
just have fun.
Everyone, the majority of human beings on this earth who are not Madeline, who I do remember once said, I don't know what jealousy is. I've never had that experience.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're saying that like you're proud?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. But it was like, I don't know. In any case, you can experience like disappointment and be okay, right? Yeah. Like, and so those like people who are like, oh, he didn't like, they might be like, wow, he was cool, and I thought he was so cool, and then he didn't call me back after the third date, and that's disappointing.
I mean, I think the main thing about dating is that rather than giving people value assessments when you encounter them, it's good to do a compatibility assessment. Like, it is meaningless how cool or not cool you think somebody is. What is meaningful is how well you think you get along with them. And I think the conservatism that's being pushed on young women about this idea that, like, still wrapped up in this idea that, like, you want a man to somehow choose you is, and we dealt with that too. My generation, every generation has dealt with this. If you were socialized as a woman, this has been an experience. And I think the only reason I didn't have that kind of mindset going into dating is that my mom is very unique. And she was just like, man, they're replaceable. Like, one leaves and like 12 show up. Who fucking cares? And I adopted that mentality from a very early age. It was just like, men, if you want to find a man, you can find him anywhere. You just go outside and point to one and they'll come running. Like, who cares? They're all replaceable. Which, I don't know, maybe it's something, but I think like it really puts you in a position where if you are thinking about somebody not being compatible with you as you being wronged in some capacity.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're saying adjacent things in the sense that it's like...
Then you're doing yourself a disservice because it implies that the correct course of action would have been for this man to pick you. And like, you never enter a dynamic wanting a man to pick you.
But you can also, I think it is possible to have the experience of being like, I thought we were so compatible. We got along so well. Oh my God. Like, the conversation was effortless. And then it's like, well, they dropped off. You can be disappointed. You can be fucking, and then be like, that fucking sucked. And you walk around all day kicking rocks and feeling sad.
Right.
But
someone not texting you back is not like abuse or emotional, like intentional harm. Like, that's just dating. And I think like for a lot of people, I know like as being socialized as a woman, people who move through the world as women, it's so hard to feel like you have power in any capacity. And I see how it can feel powerful to be like, this man not being interested in me is because he's bad. Mm-hmm. It's not because he didn't like me, it's because he's bad. And I see how it could feel powerful to like name a man as like a toxic, gaslighting, narcissistic abuser just for not being that into you. But it's not actually powerful. And it is like a branch of conservatism to think that way. You know what I mean? And that's what's like hard for me is I dislike therapy speak being marketed as an empowering tool for young women when it's actually pushing them in some ways further into these conservative corners of the internet. And it's like weird, dark alt pipeline movement that's like, ultimately, though, it's telling you that your fulfillment and needs are from presenting yourself in a way that's palatable to no matter who the man is, always getting a third or fourth or fifth date or whatever. And it's like, just stop thinking that. Stop trying to make yourself palatable to men. Stop caring about if they like you or not. Like, and it's not just, obviously men have their own fucked up things about dating. And one of the other things I see too that I'm like, oh, that's really challenging too, is that sometimes you see the reaction from women is that they're like, well, I'm just going to date the way men do. And you're like, culturally, men have their own fucked up set of reasons that makes dating horrible for them. They have a quote unquote loneliness epidemic because they can't figure out how not to be assholes. Like, you don't want to replicate that model. You don't want to replicate like the vain, shallow, superficial model where you're like, now all of a sudden I have these very narrow requirements physically for men because they have narrow requirements for women when they date. It's like, well, yeah, and they're all miserable and alone. So stop having super narrow physical requirements for people you date just because men do. They're alone. Like, you're going to end up alone if you're seeking companionship and partnership in life. That's not conducive to that. Or, you know, there's like all these reactions against it. And I don't know, it's just like very, very challenging because it reinforces the idea that the single romantic relationship is the path to value. And it's like your value does not come from that.
To me, it feels like, right, even if like those are having a single romantic relationship is something that you like.
Yeah, you can like it. You can like it for sure.
That like if you find, it's like don't like reify, like don't make everything so fucking reified where it's like there are a list of extraordinarily concrete expectations and you're like really checking some boxes as opposed to being like pay attention to what's going on around you.
Yeah, be present in the moment. Try to see who you're compatible with, and don't be fooled into thinking it's somehow radically progressive to repackage the idea that the most important thing in life, if you are a straight woman, is to be selected by a man. There is no radical way to repackage that idea.
I will say that it is literally built into how people date now.
What, with dating apps?
Yeah, no, you're literally being like, I got selected.
Well, but it's also mutual, at least. If you're a woman on the dating app, you can also select a man.
Yeah.
You know? Like, so it's mutual. You both have to select.
But it's like, right, like it creates, like it literally reifies a sort of like consumer model.
Yes. Yeah. It really, I mean, that's what it does. You make yourself a product to be consumed. You are making yourself a product for male consumption when your goal is to be consumed by a man. And like that, and I think that a lot of people don't think of themselves as having that goal, but their actions kind of reinforce the idea that that would be the ideal, that would be the goal. And that's like very, very hard to watch. So I think basically like we're all susceptible to conservatism, and it hits us in different ways based on our value system, but it's still hitting us. And you have to be like very diligent to push back against those things when you encounter them, because it's easy. It's comforting.
Yeah, this is, I've always said I'm really conservative. And so just people like it when we argue.
They do like it when we argue. You are not conservative, though.
Like, dispositionally.
Dispositionally conservative.
I have conservative.
You drive a giant pickup truck to work 4 feet away every day.
I love a pickup truck.
Yeah, I like a pickup truck.
But I like just people like it when we argue.
Yeah.
Ladies, the most important thing you can do is be picked by a man.
Oh, shut up. Oh, my God. Oh, David's in his incel shit.
No, I don't know what to fucking say. Like, the farming does sound nice.
I mean, the farming sounds nice, but then it's like, hello, then you're stuck with this man and you rely on this man for everything. And guess what? He's going to replace you with a younger model.
I was assuming this was like Doris or some bullshit where it was like a hippie primitivist commune.
No. I mean, it's what it almost looks like, but it's not.
Because like where like what's the Aaron Comet bus is like a pen pal of yours, and
what?
Like the Crimpshrine guy.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course, the Crimpshrine guy. I know his name off the top of my head.
Wait, you don't? Everyone knows fucking Comet bus.
I don't.
Everyone knows fucking that. Like if you like that is like the most like 90s punk reference.
Okay.
Of like, oh yeah, like I was like train hopping to the like hippie anarchist commune with a bunch of people, and like my butt flap got caught on a boxcar.
And Comet bus.
He is that.
Okay.
Apparently, I know. Okay, I have several friends who have reported to me that Aaron Comet bus is extraordinarily hot and super buff.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, you're trying to get picked by a man.
That's the man you want to pick you.
Yeah. And you too can live on a hippie commune.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. So I don't know. That's our rant about dating. It's frustrating seeing conservatism repackaged in all these different ways. It's frustrating seeing the weaponization of like therapy speak used to package conservatism towards a left-leaning or lefty type audience. And
I mean, I feel like people think that like aesthetics have anything to do with. I mean, aesthetics have a lot to do with politics, but you can look all kinds of fucking ways and still be like a right-wing shithead.
Exactly. And you can call yourself all sorts of things and still be a right-wing shithead. Which brings us to LaRouche.
Oh, fuck. You did the transition this time.
Oh, yeah. It was a good one.
Sick.
It was a good one. Okay, so if you caught us in the last episode, we're talking about LaRouche. LaRouche is this guy who basically ended up creating a fake Marxist cult that said they were super left-wing, and they are extremely conservative, especially socially.
Yeah.
Yeah, very homophobic.
They're like me.
No, they are not. Like, David, stop marketing yourself as a LaRoucheite.
I'm trying to... Listen, I'm just looking for a home.
You want to belong? Conservatism makes people want to belong.
I've told you my thing about, like, the Scientologists never try to pick me up.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
And I'm like, what the fuck do I not look? Even when I was, like, young and, like, looked more lost.
Yeah, you thought that they'd be interested.
They'd be like, we can turn this into... This man is clearly a failing Hollywood actor.
Yeah. You think so? I don't think you look like a failing Hollywood actor.
But, like, when I was, like, when I just moved to LA.
No, you did not look like a failing Hollywood actor. You looked like an off-duty librarian.
It's a fucking great look.
I mean, she's going to become a librarian. Yeah, that's the new goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah, no. I mean, whatever. LaRouche probably would take you if you were interested.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it, though. So one of the things I wanted to talk about before we get into picking up where we left off last week is I re-listened to the episode we recorded, and I realized that we actually didn't talk about the difference really between class in itself and class for itself.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
made jokes about them thinking they were the only ones who understood Rosa Luxemburg and the slippage between those two concepts as they were using them and how they were using them in this really weird way. But I actually thought it could be kind of good before we get back into the timeline where we pick up with LaRouche and his group, the NCLC, in the 1980s to talk a little bit about class in itself versus class for itself.
Okay.
Do you feel qualified to talk about this at all off the top of your head without notes? Or
Not off the top of, I mean, I can, like, my, like, top line remembering of it is class for itself is, like, a sense of class consciousness.
Yeah, so basically, there's, like, class is an objective product of the system,
Yeah.
right? And then there's, your consciousness of whether or not you're in the class. So class in itself is the one, I believe, I'm not getting these backwards. Class in itself is like you inherently are a member of the working class if you were a worker, whether you realize it or not. Class for itself is that once you gain class consciousness and you realize you're a member of the working class, you're therefore exploited by the bourgeoisie, you are a class for itself.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the LaRoucheites were obsessed with using the term class for itself, but they would use it basically to describe being a LaRoucheite.
But I mean, I think
that's
okay,
the only
this is.
pure consciousness that was achieved was just becoming a LaRoucheite.
I feel like this is. There are a lot of motherfuckers who are, including and many, like, who are attempting to, how do I put this? They think that they are 19th century stevedores or some bullshit.
What the fuck's a stevedore?
I don't know what a fucking stevedore is.
What, you said it?
Yeah, but
Stevedore?
it's a term that it's like a working class guy I think he like works on a train.
He unloads cargo from ships. What is this old-timey ass word?
Okay, but like there are a lot of other who are
He's
like
a dock worker.
who are operating like they are like proletarian in a sense that would be immediately recognizable to Marx in 1870. Right.
Yes.
Where it's like, well, the U.S. economy is like largely a service economy now, which means that like the construction of what we understand to be quote unquote proletarian or working class, you do have to develop past like lace workers and
You have to do basically what the DPRK did, where they brought in the office workers and everybody else who didn't fit into the classic definition of like an agrarian or proletariat worker.
you just have to do what Marx did, which is like literally analyze the actual on the ground conditions of the world you live in, as opposed to being like, no, I read Capital and now I understand everything. And
that's the thing most people don't understand is that Marxism is not a dogmatic ideology. It's one that revolves around analyzing the world around you, and when you're presented with new or different information or changing conditions, that analysis changes as well.
Yeah, but so I guess my point being, this is a lot of people who are like into Marx or whatever, or will suddenly be like, I am the proletariat and try to fit themselves into an extraordinarily bizarro like anachronistic notion of proletariat, where it's like that's a real. I don't think that you're going to be able to shovel coal into a steam-powered engine.
No, I mean, in reality, the majority of American workers, not all of them, obviously, are part of, what in the DPRK they call like the third group.
Mhm.
It's just like you are a worker, but you don't work in what we consider like the physical economy.
Yeah, I mean, the producers, as people, like, less and less a part of the United States economy.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
If I understand correctly from when I looked it up when we were talking about this at another point, manufacturing in the United States makes up something on the order of 13%
Right.
of the U.S. economy, which is not insignificant, but it's not the whole fucking pie.
No, it's like service, technology, whatever.
Yeah.
And this is actually an idea that the LaRoucheites are super interested in too. But I think it's important to note that, when the LaRouche obsession with class for itself is basically just them saying that they were the only people who had truly achieved class consciousness, and it was their justification for attacking communists, like real communists, because they were like, well, they're a class in itself, but they're not like us because they haven't actually achieved class consciousness. They just think they have. Like, they've achieved like false class consciousness. Basically was their concept behind this. So that's why that term was so important to them, because it was like a way to pat themselves on the back and insulate themselves as the only true knowers.
Though I gotta point this out. If you are a class for it, if you have something like consciousness of yourself as a class,
Yeah.
that does have to be consciousness of a class in itself.
Yes.
I'm just saying, just
It has to.
like
It
you,
has to.
like it was like, oh, I have correctly apprehended my circumstances in the material world.
Yes. I understand those circumstances affect everybody else in the material world, whether they are aware of it or not, if they occupy the same position as me.
So trying to divorce those two from one another feels
Right. I mean, yeah, they're ideas that are discussed together, and Marx does talk about them a lot. What is it, like the German
the German ideology.
Yeah, it talks about it, I think, a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of something I just was like, oh my God, we made fun of them a lot for this, but we never actually mentioned like why it's bizarre that they clung to this so much. And it's meaningful that they clung to this so much because it further pushes the idea that they are the only true people who know, and it positions all other communists as enemies.
But I guess my question is, what, like, granting that they have to have a consciousness of themselves in itself, so to speak, right? What is their justification for believing that they somehow represent, presumably, the vanguard of the proletariat?
They definitely thought they represented the vanguard.
So, which means that presumably they are like in Gramsci terms, organic intellectuals produced by the proletariat.
Yes.
No.
LaRouche is the vanguard. And they are there to execute LaRouche's vision.
And LaRouche's dad was a weird Quaker salesman?
Yes, shoe guy.
Oh, okay. LaRouche worked in a shoe factory briefly.
He did, exactly. Yeah. So basically, they're just like, remember they thought that LaRouche was going to take over the world, basically. Do you remember this?
I do. It was like he was going to be like weird 1970s Napoleon.
Right. So where we left off last week, we were talking about how in May 1979, the National Office of the NCLC, which is the organization that LaRouche put together that was ostensibly some sort of coalition of labor that never actually became that, they were briefed that a military coup was going to happen soon and make LaRouche dictator because they'd been pursuing a lot of relationships with American high-ranking government officials, including people in the military, in the intelligence service, in the CIA, in the FBI. And they had fully made themselves at this point FBI and CIA assets, which the CIA and the FBI did take information from them, but also were like, these guys are weird kooks at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, but like I feel like this is like the CIA, somewhat famously, is like really good at just being like, we love a right-wing kook. We don't have to like agree. We don't really care. We don't have to be like, we are ideologically committed to LaRouche's plan so much as to be like, go crazy, go wild.
Yeah, go cause mayhem. We have the same enemies. Do whatever you want. You hate actual communists? We hate actual communists too. What do you got?
We don't really care what you're doing, but we're not gonna.
You know, it kind of reminds me of the U.S.'s relationship with Pol Pot. Remember, at first Pol Pot was like, maybe we are communists. And then they were like, no, we're not communists at all. Because all the other communists were like, you are not communists. What are you doing? And then they were like, fine, we're not communists. We're revolutionaries. And at that point, the United States was like, hey, Pol Pot, we see you're having problems with all those communists in Asia. We would love to fund you to fight those communists for us. So it's like very, very similar to that. You have these people who are trying to present themselves as left-wing. They're not actually left-wing. All of the actual left-wing people get mad at them. And then the U.S. government is like, we can work with us.
I mean, it also reminds me of like the 1.5 million bizarro splinter parties in Italy in the immediate post-war period who were like, we're socialists. And America was like, okay, like, well, you're not like the main thing.
Yeah.
Which means we can give you some money because like you'll fuck it up for everyone else.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, the thing to remember is that the NCLC by the end of the 1970s was fully convinced that a military coup was imminent. LaRouche was going to become dictator of the United States and then within a few years' time of the world. And that he was going to be able to implement this thing called the Grand Design for Humanity, which was his long-range plan that they talked about all the time for when he would ultimately inevitably come to power. And the Grand Design for Humanity, the long-range plan, was basically this. LaRouche said that the world was dominated by a Zionist cabal, remember, but not just like IPAC's funding everything and Israel is bad. No, it was like, there's a room with like 12 dudes in it in London, and if we show up and kill them all, we're the cabal now. And you're like,
So how many of those dudes were Rothschilds?
So basically, he then thought that once he did that, he would be able to create a super race of golden souls, which would basically be his doing, and the golden souls super race creation was the true objective of his life. Now, look, I'm just speculating. If I had to guess, I'm guessing the way LaRouche thinks he's going to create a super race of golden souls is by impregnating a lot of 19-year-old girls.
I'm just gonna say,
Real culty guy.
Lyndon LaRouche,
Yeah.
no Aaron Comet Bus.
I'm just going to say, if you are thinking too much about being picked by a man and a man like LaRouche comes along and picks you, get out of there.
Wait for Aaron Comet Bus.
Wait for Aaron Comet. You should pick the men.
Uh-huh.
I'm circling back to what I said earlier, because I definitely don't think like you can always tell when someone is bad. People end up in abusive relationships. They don't see it coming. People present themselves very, very nice at first. You never know. You can't tell. Nobody asked to be abused, whatever. But I do think you should get more agency to choose the man and not just wait for him to choose you. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I feel like you're
Does he feel like you're a misogynist?
I feel like you're really fixated on the picking.
Because it's wild. I'm telling you, when I'm like exposed to so much media geared towards women, all of the media is basically, about being selected by some dude.
That's it. I feel like, I don't know. I'm probably not the dude in this situation.
I think you're a dude for some people.
I know, but I'm not that dude.
Yeah.
Like they're not like, he didn't pick me. They're like,
some of them are. They're just not the people you're interested in, which is kind of the whole point.
I mean, that's, but whatever.
You would be a horrible dude for those people. Some of these people who are upset you did not select them, I'm just like, you dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
You really want to sit around and listen to David talk to you about some obscure 18th century author from some European country that doesn't exist anymore? Nobody wants that. Who wants that?
What
I don't know.
18th century author are you fucking talking about?
I don't know. You probably know like 80 of them.
No, I know. Okay, first of all, the one that I make actually, this came off very well. I was on a date like 2 weeks ago. Fabulous.
Because you're compatible. Compatibility is the most.
But I made a glancing reference to the fact that both Pamela and Clarissa by Samuel Richardson, from a country that still exists, England.
Unfortunately.
Are like, okay, so I always, before we start recording, I'm like, how much digression do you want?
We're on a moderate level of digression.
Okay, well, I'll keep this to 2 sentences. Okay. So Samuel Richardson wrote this book called Pamela. It's basically about this woman who goes to work as the maid of a wealthy guy who, I think his wife just died. And he has an elderly mother. And she is like obsessed with marrying him.
Never be obsessed with marrying a man either. Well, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
And there are all of these really funny scenes where it's like a seduction scene, but like she's like, no, don't, oh my god, and it's pretty rapey. But like, so this guy who Henry Fielding wrote a book called Shamala. This was the name a popular thing. What's the
Sabrina Carpenter?
This was the Sabrina Carpenter of the 1750s or 60s or something.
Shamala?
No, Pamela.
Pamela.
But so that it made parodies, and Henry Fielding did one where it's like Pamela is a slatternly slut, and she's constantly being called. But
it sounds way better.
It's so funny. But I said on the date, oh, like how Pamela is just like some like creepy old man's like 500-page rape fantasy, because that's what it is.
And she got it.
She got it.
See, the right person will get it. If you ever are on a date with a man like David and he references a book from the 17th century called Pamela, you've never heard of 18th century, do not indulge. Just be like, oh, we are not the same kind of person, and get yourself the fuck out of there.
I'm just saying that is for the English lit motherfuckers in the world.
It's hitting.
That is a very funny joke. It is a 500-page rape fantasy.
I believe you. I believe you on that. I trust you completely. I just,
So speaking of someone's 500-page rape fantasy.
Basically, LaRouche with his freaking grand design for humanity.
Yeah.
How is he supposed to create all of the Golden Soul super race?
Do you think he's creating all?
I think he thinks he is.
You don't think it's like...
He said it was the true objective of his life. It's a race. It's a super race. He thinks he's going to be in charge of all of the world.
Okay, we gotta look up what this motherfucker looks.
Okay, you want to look up what Lyndon LaRouche looks like? Okay.
I feel like every time I try to like make fun of someone's physical appearance, you won't go along with me. That's very frustrating.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's bleak.
I'm just gonna say, like as a nearsighted person myself, He's nearsighted. How can you be the super race and be nearsighted?
And you can't even see.
Yeah.
There is a weekend update. This is cursed of Al Franken as Lyndon LaRouche from back in the day. There's a lot of cursed LaRouche content. Here's him probably at his prime. And he's kind of like, oh God, who's the guy who is so bad because of my face blindness? To me, a person with face blindness. This looks like if Woody Allen had a baby with the guy who was in The Shining.
Oh.
What's that guy's name? Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
If Woody Allen and Jack Nicholson had a baby, it would be hideous, and that would be Lyndon LaRouche at his prime.
That, I'm just saying this is not the super race anyone asked for.
No.
Even the eugenicists are not. Like, I want to get out the fucking skull calipers and be like,
wow,
you gotta do some measuring.
It's pretty bad, yeah. So it's not great. So this is where we're at. Yeah, Lyndon LaRouche is creeping around in his weird little fucking freaky cult, pretending like he's doing politics, and 1980s hits.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the NCLC is growing. Remember in the 70s, they were doing all those recruitment techniques.
Yeah, and that people are like, oh my God, this is the rank and file union organization we've been looking for.
No, nobody said nobody ever.
Oh my God, the Teamsters, Jimmy Hoffa, holy fuck.
No.
They
did something with the Teamsters, I think, though.
Okay, they're in bed with Richard Nixon. Where's Jimmy Hoffa's body? Oh no, but the National Labor Committee.
National Committee Labor Caucus?
Sure.
I'm going to look at the word caucus in my notes and we'll get the full name again because.
They're like.
That's the ICLC. No, that's it. The National Caucus of Labor Committees. That's what it is. We got the C's backwards.
The CPUSA, it's dead.
Well, it's not dead technically.
It's dying.
But yeah, the LaRoucheites also were going to those meetings and beating all these old people up. And
it's in a coma.
Yeah, and they've been recruiting by being super manipulative. They've been recruiting from the ranks of the KKK. They've been recruiting from the ranks of the Black nationalists.
You gotta if you're in the Klan.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking they kept these people apart from each other.
No, but just if you're in the Klan, which is famously not an organization friendly to Marxism.
I would not guess. Yeah,
and someone's like, we got a fancy new brand of Marxism. That you gotta be a.
Well, I think it's working for the modern version of the LaRoucheites in the United States today, the American Communist Party, who's trying to do just that.
Is that the Avarkin?
No, it's we're going to talk about at the end of this episode. It's this guy Jackson Hinkle who branded the idea of MAGA communism.
Oh boy!
And that's exactly what the LaRoucheites today, spoiler alert, are getting into. So. The NCLC is growing. By the mid-1980s, they had regional or local units in over 20 cities in the U.S. who each had their own steering committee, which ain't nothing. They also had a national office in Leesburg, Virginia. And the national office was divided up into different sectors. They had a legal sector, a finance sector, an operations sector, an intelligence sector, which is the one that was trying to court and constantly woo the FBI, the CIA, and the State Department.
Should have just sent them a bottle of gin.
And then they had the security sector. So they had a central bureaucracy, and that kind of ran all these things they called entities, which were just networks of different things that were public-facing. So the NCLC itself operated in relative secrecy, but if they wanted to do something public-facing, they might create a new entity with a different name to go out and do that work on their behalf. So in that way, it's almost like they replicated the United States model of intelligence and espionage, which is that if you wanted to do something, by the 70s or 80s, it became less popular to do it through just the CIA. So you instead would have the National Endowment for Democracy fund all these other many different groups to go do it on your behalf. But all of it really was still the U.S. government's message. This is kind of what the NCLC was doing. Everything was still the NCLC's message and agenda, but they were doing it through this network of 12 guys in a trench coat. Pretending no, the opposite of 12 guys in a trench coat. Whatever the opposite of that is.
What?
From outside, it looks like 12 things, but actually it's just one thing.
Oh, okay.
It's like a house of mirrors. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, sure. So I was just imagining the three kids on each other's shoulders.
Yeah, that's what I was going for, where it's a bunch of things posing as one, but it's the opposite.
It's
one thing posing as a bunch of things.
It's they're just putting on and taking off the Groucho Marx glasses, mustache thing.
And this is exactly the same thing that the United States does today with our intelligence and all of that. We do the same thing. So this is a successful model, I guess. So they had all these different entities that they operated without saying it was them. And they could be different types of things. They could be political action committees, PACs, to try to influence American politics. They could be some sort of publishing house of some kind, like they're making a newspaper, they're making pamphlets, whatever, they're making videos. They could be educational arms. They're out there teaching people things. They could be fundraising. That was a huge one. Or they could be like full businesses, basically, just generating income for the NCLC.
I gotta say, like, kooks really learned the Gramsci lesson way better than actual Marxists.
Like what? What's the Gramsci lesson?
Right, like, oh, you do actually have to be engaged in, like, the technical production of knowledge. And, like, right, like, they learned that, like, whatever brand of kook you happen to be.
Make literature about it.
Make literature, start a business, like, do every fucking thing under the planet that is that. They learned, like...
They really did, yeah.
Like, most Marxists just went to grad school.
Right. So the NCLC National Executive Committee had general staff, a board of directors. That's kind of how it was made up. And the chairman of the board was obviously...
Lynn.
LaRouche, yeah. And then political campaigns were run out of this, where LaRouche was usually running for office, but sometimes it would be other people in local or smaller kind of, campaigns. And this was to grant them, like, some semblance of constitutionally protected activity that they wouldn't otherwise have.
I feel like they should have just been a church, then tax exempt.
It should have been a church. So in reality, though, they were basically just running a massive financial grift. And the financial grift was interesting. Like, one of the most prominent ways that the American public saw the NCLC do fundraising and stuff would be that every morning, hundreds of LaRouche followers went to airports all over the country or telephone banks all over the country. And they would shift locations all the time. And their job would be to either do fundraising efforts or, like, just give people propaganda. And fundraising was usually not just asking for donations. It would be asking for loans. So they would call on the phones of these phone banks targeting senior citizens and be like, will you give us a private loan? But obviously the loans would never get
Wait, I'm sorry. I got it. That rocks. I love that. So, like, to just, like, my grandparents got, like, when they were alive, got skipped by one of the, like, your nephews in jail over my cousin.
I think about this a lot because somebody tried to scam my grandma by saying that I was in jail and pretending to be me, and my grandma was like, you probably fucking deserved it. And I hung up the phone and I'm like, Jesus.
No, I think my grandparents gave them like $500 or some shit, which
not a lot. Could have been worse, but still bad.
They're gone now. Yeah. They lived long and happy lives and believed that my cousin really needed that money. And I don't think anyone ever disabused them of it. My parents just made sure that that didn't happen again. Yeah. But I will say, had someone just called up and been like, hey, Margie, Perry, it's Chad. We really... Just a loan.
Just a loan.
They could have gotten so much money.
Oh, probably. And people were usually told, like, look, it's a loan to help a patriotic cause for the United States or some sort of humanitarian cause, and the interest rate you're going to earn is going to be higher than at a bank. And you're doing something you believe in with the money.
And I have, like, did nobody think to, like, this is pre-internet. So, like, put a commercial on.
Well, you have to remember, a lot of these things... First of all, weren't publicly affiliated with LaRouche or anything. They'd be publicly affiliated with groups that put out a lot of media, though, and were prevalent a lot of places.
I understand. If you're Gen Z, this is what because you're on the hustle mindset.
Yes, Gen Z's on the hustle mindset.
Think about how easy it would have been to hustle pre-internet. No.
Oh my God, the grift pre-internet would have been. You could just write checks for money you didn't even have.
Yeah.
You used to be like, here's a check, and then skip town.
Wait,
it was wild.
Do you remember doing the thing when we were a few times when we were trying to get back in my Volvo from LA when we lived in Fresno, where we would just write checks to ourselves because we didn't have enough money for gas?
No. Did we do check fraud?
We did check fraud.
I love us for that. Wow. Wow, I don't even remember. The life.
And then just, like, put enough money in our bank account in time for the check to clear.
Wow. Okay, so that's not really bank fraud.
But it is basically like, we would like an extra $40, please.
Yes. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, so, some of them did have these organizations that maybe people would have heard of. Some of them maybe were just really good at convincing people. And remember, they also were running elections. So sometimes it would be like, yeah, it's for a political campaign. And there would be real politicians, quote unquote, politicians running for offices. So the elections were actually a huge part of their model. And they would run lots of candidates in different types of U.S. elections, usually under the National Democratic Policy Committee, the NDPC, which was one of the entities.
Which presumably had nothing to do with the actual Democratic Party.
No. But they did also run some candidates under the Democratic Party, and I didn't see any documentation of them running candidates under the Republican Party.
Oh, actually.
Which is interesting. Mm-hmm. So the NCLC would literally put thousands of candidates in the Democratic primaries to run for office under the Democratic Party.
And then fundraise.
And yeah, they would fundraise for a lot of them, and they would win dozens of nominations for public office. Some people would get like 20% or more of the vote. That was like pretty common. So by 1986, LaRouchians had actually won the Democratic nomination for lieutenant governor and secretary of state in Illinois.
So they're big in Illinois.
Yes. And in Illinois, they were specifically called the LaRouche Democrats. Now, this is really interesting because I started dating somebody recently from Illinois, and they were like, Illinois is weird. And this is before I had researched LaRouche or anything. They were like, Illinois is weird because everybody's a Democrat, but it is the most socially conservative brand of Democrat that I have ever seen anywhere in the country. Mm-hmm. Like, these are not normal Democrats. They're like more Republican than Republicans lots of places. And they're the Democrats of Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, I think my experience has been, unless you are, it's like a rare that at the state and local level, the Democratic Party looks it doesn't even try to do a good cleaning of its image.
Well, I think they were talking more about the types of people who are loud and proud Democrats in Illinois.
It's they're blue dog Democrats of the old Merle Haggard.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah. So the LaRouche Democrats were especially popular in Illinois, and they were winning nominations. They were getting high vote percentages through 1988. And in Ohio, they also were pretty popular. They picked up a Democratic nomination, and they almost won. They got 47% of the vote for one election there. And NDPC candidates were doing well like this everywhere across the country, like Oregon, Pennsylvania, and in big races, sometimes in Senate races.
At this point, presumably there's a lot of grift going on. They do seem kind of like a bizarro insurgent political party.
They kind of are at this point, amongst other things. Yeah. The NDPC said that they had over 200 Democratic Party county committee seats that they held across California, Illinois, Florida, Massachusetts, etc. They had 57 seats in suburban counties around Chicago alone. Mm-hmm. They were doing it. And they raised over $200 million in loans and campaign donations from the American public in total.
And are we in the 80s yet?
We're in the 80s.
We're in the 80s. Okay. I feel like that's a chunk of change.
That's a lot of money. And they funneled this all through different shell corporations to avoid paying taxes. LaRouche himself, meanwhile, would run for president every year, which is why he's so much of a public figure, that the SNL sketches were happening about him, And a lot of the money that they got was to make these half-hour television network spots just promoting LaRouche. And some people referred to him as a televangelist of politics.
This is feeling like Ross Perot.
Yes, it totally reminds me of Ross Perot. This is somebody in the 90s we grew up as being a public figure.
Yeah, who also, I think, Dana Carvey was.
Yes, Dana Carvey played him. And Ross Perot was just a kooky rich guy. I don't even remember his politics.
It was libertarian. He was my understanding of him is that he was legitimately kind of hard scrabble upbringing, bootstrappy.
Got it.
And then it was a lot of balance the budget, make everything, cut social spending. We don't have the money for that.
Got it. So this kind of brings us to the LaRouchian use of the media, which is significant. In 1981, LaRouche had been writing articles, his musings, his new version of post-Marxism, because remember, he subsumed Marxism and made it his new version of Marx.
That's something that famously needed to happen, and that Marx, he predicted that in the end there would be subsumed Marxism.
Subsumed Marxism. So in 1981, though, LaRouche does something different, and he writes his first piece of fiction. And hearing about this is so embarrassing. You know, we have like secondhand embarrassment.
I just got like the whole back catalog of L. Ron Hubbard books.
Okay, it's like this.
It's
the same vibe as this.
It's so
exactly.
sick.
Yeah. So this is a short story. And when I heard about it, I was like, okay, Ayn Rand, settle down, okay? So it's described as the possible circumstances under which an individual who threatens social order can act out his dreams.
Sick.
He's the rebel, and he's being oppressed by the system, but he's going to live out his fantasies and fix everything. And LaRouche in this was like, you know, the only thing that's restraining people is a fabric of social controls. And the fabric of social controls is there, man, to just keep everybody in the equivalent of some computer file system.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is he saying that he went to your schools? He went to your churches.
Yes, and in the end, he wanted to do something special, like he
wanted
a bunch of teenagers to create a master race.
With a Pepsi.
Yeah. So the plot of this book is that a paranoid technologist is believed to have invented an infernal machine to blow up downtown Chicago, and the only person who could stop him is Lyndon LaRouche. He put himself in as hero of the short story.
He called it?
Yeah. He called it himself.
He didn't even call it Lynn?
No, it's Lyndon LaRouche is in there, yeah.
Oh, man.
So
this is maybe this is like a Pynchon style postmodern metafiction commentary.
Okay, see, if you were ever on a date with somebody who says that to you and it annoys you, do not worry if that person likes you.
Yeah, because I'm also famously bizarre to be around in a myriad of other ways. So
if you were on a date with somebody and you're like, yes, that's funny, that's a person you're getting along with.
I feel like we need to use a principle of generosity.
Yeah, but I don't think generosity is applied to compatibility.
No. With Lyndon.
With Lyndon LaRouche. Oh, not with you.
I think with me, we need to be extraordinarily generous, especially with money.
Oh, so what David's saying is that he will begin running for president every 4 years without fail.
No, every
year.
Give
him a generous loan with a high interest rate.
Every year. I'll run it off years.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Yeah,
I'll support you.
Okay.
I love that. I support you. Not financially, but like, you know, like my heart.
So you'll use your substantial social media presence to promote my campaign.
What's your platform?
That Lynn, I'm going LaRouche.
Okay, David's officially a LaRoucheite.
But I'm gonna be old LaRouche. Remember how like the inner circle, they called him Lynn?
Did they? Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. I thought you meant that he called his whole inner circle Lynn. Their names were all Lynn.
But I'm going to be like an insurgent within the LaRoucheites.
Okay, you're creating a faction.
Yes. Where we're all Lynn.
Okay, everybody's name. I think this is just a cult you're describing, maybe.
And then MAGA communism.
Yeah, MAGA communism. You're gonna do that one.
I feel like I can't pull it off.
Yeah.
Like I have like wireframe glasses.
I think the glasses are the problem, really. I think the glasses are what's stopping you.
I combed my hair today. Madeline, does it look combed?
Your hair looks shorter, I will say. You cut it.
I had like a 20-minute not argument with my barber who only speaks Korean. Where I just kept being like more.
I mean, I think the haircut's kind of good.
Okay, but no, it's skinhead revival. That was something I've been pushing.
You don't have a skinhead.
I know. Next time.
You have a very normal haircut.
Next time.
Yeah.
I'll get a fucking buzz cut.
Okay, all right.
I'm doing like a skinhead MAGA.
Skinhead MAGA is what David's doing. Wow, I think it'll hit.
I feel like people did try that.
They did with the Fred Perry logos and the torches. Yes, they did. That's just being like a racist skinhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
yeah,
I feel like it's
been done. You know, there's no bad ideas in brainstorming. You accidentally invented neo-Nazis. We already have those. We don't need more of them.
I think we're We'll
move on.
And I don't think they'd be into
you.
Yeah.
Compatibility. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay. Lynn.
So he makes himself the hero of the story, but this is like pretty rare, the piece of fiction. Mostly they're developing a lot of propaganda networks. He actually developed something called the Schiller Institute, which is huge. It's international, and it ends up getting headed by his wife. Remember, he married the German woman who was a lot younger than him, Helga Zepp LaRouche. And that is actually what took up a lot of the money that the NCLC was generating. So it was mostly dedicated to sharing anti-Semitic literature like across the United States, but also internationally, but like in subtle ways. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, you're conflating the Jews with the Zionists. Zionism is bad, but then you just describe like Judaism basically. And like, this isn't really Zionism, but okay. It also had multiple publications within it. There was something called the New Solidarity, which was later renamed the New Federalist, and that was a newspaper that came out twice per week.
I gotta say, this in 70s and they're putting the new next to something was just like, that was like the easiest branding fucking opportunity. You're the new left, you're the new statesman, you're the
new Federalist. Yeah, you're new, you're fresh, baby. It's what people want. But this is a lot of content they're making. If you think about this from a content perspective, a newspaper 2 times a week.
How big were these newspapers?
That's actually a good question. I'm not sure.
Because I feel like I'm getting.
I think it could be like a little, like a 4-pager.
Have you ever like seen like an actual physical copy of the Daily Worker, like from like back in the day?
No.
That's like 2 or 3 articles. It's one of those like little mini papers.
I'm thinking of the Black Panther papers, and those were pretty dense.
Yeah, but
like, they weren't coming out 2 times a week.
The Daily Worker, it had some dense shit in it. It's just there's not
a lot of it. Yeah. There's also the Campaigner, which was a monthly theoretical journal. I don't know. There was also Executive Intelligence Review, which was a weekly magazine about the news.
That sounds so sick.
That was actually pretty big. We'll see later that some American government officials were like doing interviews in this and stuff.
I would probably accident. Like, this would be like, you get the like little, you can subscribe for $5.
And you would fall for the Executive Intelligence Review.
That sounds so cool.
It's interesting. They also had literature tables set up at airports that would have pamphlets. So the pamphlets would have things like "Feed Jane Fonda to the whales."
That rocks.
I'm sorry. Environmentalists, they're just like, "Fuck Jane Fonda." And she was doing a lot of like.
No. This is I know. I understand that.
But the public might.
I feel like "Feed Jane Fonda to the Whales" sounds like a fucking Fear song.
It does sound like a Fear song. You're right. It does. It would go hard on a t-shirt. Also. Yeah. So they also had something called the New Benjamin Franklin Publishing House, and they would put out books, and the books would be called things like "Dope Inc., The Hitler Book, and What Every Conservative Should Know About Communism."
The branding fucking front.
You think the branding's hard?
Dope Inc.
Dope Inc. The Hitler Book.
The Hitler Book.
What Every Conservative Should Know About Communism.
I watched. It was very hard to find, but I watched the Plot to Assassinate Adolf Hitler last night, and I was.
What is it?
So it's like it's like a mockumentary that came out, I think, in like the 60s.
It's good?
That's good.
Okay. They also had other like media representation in general, just from people kind of noticing them around and being like, what's going on here? Again, they had a lot of politicians. LaRouche himself was on these TV spots running for president a lot. So people were noticing them. Even though the NCLC moved in relative secrecy, people noticed LaRouche and they noticed some things going on. LaRouche mostly, though, was just discredited as a bizarre eccentric. People really downplayed his potential to have any political influence. He was just labeled like this weird cult guy. And because of that, people really thought that he was just mostly harmless to the general public. They did not realize, though, that he actually, throughout the 80s, ended up becoming highly influential in both American and international politics.
International, you say?
Yes.
Would you say that he formed a cabal?
Oh, whoa.
What if this is how I infiltrate, I faction off within the LaRoucheites? I'm like, what if LaRouche was
the cabal all along?
He was a Rothschild.
Yeah, he was a Zionist. Whoa. Okay, so one of the ways that they became really influential in American international politics was through the intelligence network that they set up. Remember I said they had all these different types of things, and one of them was intelligence networks. So they set up basically an international political intelligence news service that ran kind of like a parallel CIA, just like not doing covert ops. Just intelligence.
That's the Executive Intelligence Report.
That's actually part of it, yeah. They operated under the Executive Intelligence Review, and there were news bureaus in a dozen cities around the globe, and they provided a steady flow of information into LaRouche's New York-based headquarters for the Executive Intelligence Review. They also, though, took this information that they got, and they fed a lot of it to the CIA and specifically also the National Security Council. So between 1981 and 1984, LaRouchians would hold all these meetings with a lot of National Security Council aides. They also met with a special assistant to Reagan's National Security Advisor at the time, William Clark. Like, they had pull. And according to CIA documents that were released under the Freedom of Information Act, in the 80s, LaRoucheites were like basically harassing the CIA with phone calls as early as 1976 to try to like be like, work with us, work with us, work with us, work with us. And this is where they also started calling the home of George Bush Sr.
You gotta.
It's funny.
The anti-Semitism is not great.
The KKK thing, not great.
Not great.
Beating up communists, not great.
Great.
The weird sex cult implications that maybe never manifested, but clearly I think that's what was on his
I love that you think that.
Not great. Who else is he making the master race?
I thought that presumably he's like, we believe in free love.
Oh, okay, maybe that. Maybe everyone's making it, I guess. I think he's too innocent.
But like,
he's in charge. I think it's him.
Free goy love.
Oh.
Only goy.
So, they basically were calling everybody, calling George Bush Sr. at home, just begging for the opportunity to brief them on terrorist organization agendas that they picked up on. They're just like, please, we have so much info for you, CIA and George Bush. Like, please, let us talk to you, please. And just imagine, like, 20 phone calls like that a week.
I gotta imagine if you're H.W. Bush and you're like, I'm like an alcoholic with some CIA background.
Yeah.
But no, he was sober.
Was he?
I think so. Or like not.
The
He wasn't.
Daddy Bush?
He wasn't a part of like the weird alcoholics of the CIA.
He wasn't. Okay.
But
Not me Googling, was Bush Sr. an alcoholic? Yes. George W. Bush.
No, that's W.
That's the young one.
Yeah. But in any case,
Yeah.
who's like, dude, I know enough about the CIA. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Leave me alone. I do CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it ended up actually working out, though, because LaRouche hired this guy with CIA connections named Mitchell, I'm guessing it's Verbal the Third. It's Werbell.
Mm-hmm.
So he hired this guy to be a security consultant and PR person, but this guy was like some far right-wing dude who had a ton of CIA connections. So he would hold these private parties, and then there he would introduce the LaRouche crowd to CIA agents,
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the LaRoucheites ended up actually getting in to the intelligence community and having these meetings in the end with the CIA and with the NSC, the National Security Council, throughout the 80s. And this is something they've been working on since the late 70s. So it was really this guy, Mitchell Verbal III, who...
I'm sorry, no, we're calling him Mitchell Weeble.
Weeble? Is this because I gave you shit for pronouncing that one dude's name? What was it?
Which dude?
I don't know, it's all of them. All the dudes.
Listen, I don't pronounce anyone's name weird. I just think Weeble sounds better.
I think so too, but I think it's Verbal the Third.
No, it's Weeble.
Weeble. There's an R in the middle.
The R is silent.
Okay, so they had a bunch of relationships with both domestic and international politicians. They had a bunch of ties to the GOP and the Republican Party. Obviously, they're calling freaking George Bush Sr., and they're talking to far-right extremists who have government connections to throw these parties. So they ended up becoming valued unofficial consultants to the Reagan administration. Which makes sense.
Jen and maybe jelly beans. That's how...
So, do you know about Star Wars? Not the movie.
Like,
the Strategic Defense Initiative thing under Reagan?
Like Reagan's, what was Trump's one? Star Force?
Yeah, Trump just did one. Reagan had done one. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's like, we're going to do lasers in space or something.
Yeah.
So, basically, the LaRoucheites helped promote, along with like Pentagon, National Security Council, and State Department support, the idea of the Strategic Defense Initiative, aka Star Wars. David just heard a cat run on my roof for the first time. You look like when a dog hears a noise, your ears perked up.
My ears perk?
You went like like a dog, like a puppy.
Okay.
Yeah, my house doesn't have real walls or a ceiling, so when a cat gets on the roof, it feels like an earthquake.
I don't know. I just thought someone was like home, or like you had like an attic creature.
Oh, there might be an attic creature. That's a possibility. Maybe somebody's home in the attic.
What's the evil Bart?
I don't know.
Like the
Simpsons?
Yeah, like
Does he live in the attic?
Yeah, they had like I think it was like how Halloween, whatever
that makes
the
sense. Yeah, I missed it. So they were really into, the LaRoucheites were really into the Strategic Defense Initiative, aka Star Wars, this space thing. So in 1983, President Reagan formally announced the Strategic Defense Initiative, which was a plan for a space-based missile defense system. And the Washington Press Corps was so surprised by this. They're like, I'm sorry, fucking what? And that's why they all jokingly called it Star Wars. But the LaRoucheites were like, finally, because they had been advocating for this in close contact with Reagan's team for years.
I'm sorry, have you never gotten stoned and been like, well, why don't they just put some missiles up there?
I don't really think about that when I'm stoned.
That's all I think about when I'm stoned. I'm just like, just put some fucking missiles up there.
No, I'm like, if I'm stoned, I'm like, I wonder what Pokemon my TV would be.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
exactly.
Mine, I feel like much more fun.
Yeah, maybe.
I go full Dr. Evil.
I go full, just every inanimate object in my house gets assigned a correlating Pokemon.
Do you know more? I only know what's the yellow one.
Pikachu?
Yes.
David, I know so much about Pokemon.
Why do you know so much about Pokemon?
Because when I was around 32 years old, I decided to get really into the Pokemon games.
The one I watched someone walk in to the lake at Gasworks Park in Seattle, playing that stupid fucking Pokemon game.
Oh, Pokemon Go. Oh no, I'm not talking about Pokemon Go.
Oh.
But that's a good one. I'm talking handheld Nintendo Pokemon games. I'm talking Pokemon Arceus. I'm talking about Scarlet Violet. I'm talking about Let's Go Eevee.
Did you play the cards?
I've got the card game on my phone now. Pokemon trading card game on my phone though. I'm in.
I think my nephew might be quote unquote qualifying for national Pokemon.
Oh, that's cool.
Is it?
I think that's so cool. Yeah. So DoD spokesman John Demacourt said in September 1984 that basically the Department of Defense regarded the LaRouchians as, quote, a conservative group very supportive of the administration in general. So remember, they're running Democratic politicians all over the country.
Yeah.
But they're like basically also the buddies of the Republican Party. And they're just like, where do we get influence?
They sound totally normal. I mean,
for Washington, totally normal. A lot of these orgs, these PACs, whatever, they're playing both sides.
They are cold calling people asking for money. They are running politicians on every conceivable issue, depending on presumably where they are.
Yeah,
right.
They're basically Buttigieg. Buttigieg. Who's the
You know what?
Who just won all the initial polling, and they're probably gonna run him as president.
Actually,
Pete.
They're gonna run that motherfucker.
Well, he just polled the highest out of all their potential candidates, and the candidates they were thinking of were not great.
He's not
electable.
Why
do they learn nothing? Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg. I'm looking at
No, I know. Okay, so this is going to be my new prank. Also,
he's our age. This man should not be president.
I mean, our vice president is our age.
That man should not exist.
In any case, I feel like now every time you say a name, I'm just gonna look at you weird and make you question.
You should have my pronunciation brain on my bad pronunciation.
Because you said it right, but I'm just gonna be all I can do is be like,
well, who knows? All right, let me see. The Buttigieg polled highest. Let's see.
What?
Yes. Okay. Here we go. 2 days ago. Buttigieg leads 2028 Democratic field. Show me the numbers. All right. So they polled 3,000 adults across the United States. And Democratic identifying respondents say that Buttigieg was ranked as the best bet for 2% of the entire voting base that they polled, followed by AOC coming in at 19%, Harris coming in at 16%.
I'm sorry. Harris again?
Again, they're thinking about it again. They learned nothing. Cory Booker at 10% and Gavin Newsom at 7%. So our little psychopathic California Gavi boy might not make the cut.
I like who seems like entirely okay with pushing aside environmental impact reports to rebuild the beach in a place where it will clearly just catch on fire again.
I mean, this guy's got so many problems. Newsom.
That one, like, and then fuck
for me,
that
it's
guy.
the photo ops tearing down the homeless encampments that really did it for me.
That's not good. I mean, though, I have to imagine that shit plays well. Like, that shit plays real. Remember?
With what kind of monsters?
What's his name? Mitch O'Farrell?
Mitch O'Farrell. That was one of our guys. He was
lo-
like a local city council guy.
Yeah, he lost to Soto Martinez eventually. But I think, he was doing that shit over at Echo Park. I'm just saying, that shit, like, because you're like, we're here for homeowners.
Oh, God. As a homeowner.
Yeah.
I say just give everybody free houses.
Yeah, but then your home would be not special.
Yeah, I don't really care. I don't give a fuck.
You wouldn't have Evil Bart in the...
They might have had it. Yeah, running around up there. Okay, so they're playing both sides. So they're running as Democrats. They're basically Democrats. They're in with the Reagan administration. And they also were helping the Labor Secretary Ray Donovan and U.S. Senator Jesse Helms at the same time, too. They're like, we're going to craft you into something great. Work with us, babe. They also were developing relationships with all these conservative think tanks in Washington. I'm sure Heritage. I'm
sure. But, like, you got to imagine, like, if you, like, live in Washington, can you imagine being, like, you work, like, a service industry job in Washington, and it's just, like, the people you meet.
Oh, God. Weirdos. LaRouche also, meanwhile, at this time, so weird, he had this theory that Henry Kissinger was a Soviet agent.
I love that theory so much, and I want it to be true.
He also, okay, you remember in the last episode we mentioned how they were, like, weirdly obsessed with gay people?
Wait, what about, okay, so let's game this out.
Yeah. Kissinger. Soviet agent.
Somewhat famously opened China, quote unquote.
Oh, you said he was a weird dentist, remember?
Yeah.
You always said that. Kissinger was a weird dentist.
But what about the Soviet-Sino split? Right.
Oh.
So is this, Kissinger's a Soviet agent. Do you think this is Kissinger's way of doing a backdoor rapprochement between, like, Dangism and what are we, where are we in the 70s? Who's the B guy?
The B guy.
The Soviet leader in the 70s. Brezhnev. Right, like, this is like they're going to heal the Soviet-Sino split. They are going to bring about a new world order. They're bringing Nixon into the fold.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
I'm okay.
And Watergate was just people in this, like, hardened anti-communists who were like, we got to get rid of this Nixon motherfucker.
Whoa.
Probably they were also Zionists.
I bet they
within the deep state.
They were probably also gay.
Gay Zionists.
They were gay deep state Zionists.
Who took down Nixon.
Who took down Nixon because he was part of a Soviet agenda.
Create Soviet Dangist American hegemony.
Yes. I mean, you're not far off. So obviously we talked about how LaRouche was, like, super obsessed with gay people, and he'd be like, you're all harboring secret psychosexual demons, and they're all gay. To all of his followers. Do you remember this?
I do remember this, and I, like, it does feel like the negative version of queer shipping or coding.
Yes.
Right, where it's like when everyone wanted Taylor Swift to be with Carly Kloss.
I missed that, but that makes sense. Well, LaRouche was like, Henry Kissinger, definitely gay. So gay.
Wait, no, Henry Kissinger, biggest player of them all.
No, gay.
That man.
LaRouche says gay.
Fucked.
I mean, look, if you guys haven't heard, we have a whole episode series about
So
Kissinger.
Do you think he had the most beards? Is that what?
No, I mean, LaRouche, I think, is a stupid man. I think we established that in the first episode. He's not a very bright man.
Yeah.
He's not very bright. He's obsessed with gay people. You know, I don't understand. I'm gonna read a quote from him. It's got a lot of F slurs in it.
I enjoy watching you navigate
here's
this
the
one.
thing. I'm a gay. I think I could say it, but I don't usually say it.
You can, okay.
I do have a rule that you can say a word if somebody has beat you up while screaming the word at you.
Wait, so I can say...
You've been called this word more than I have.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a weird one. So I'm just... Fuck it. I'm just going to go. It's Pride Month. I'm gay.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is not Patreon.
This is not Patreon.
Okay.
This is on me.
This is going to be clipped so hard.
Oh, my God. I mean, if you clipped this and it sounded like I was saying it, it would be deranged. All right, fine. We're replacing it with F slur. This is not a word again.
No, I want you to say it. Go for it. Go for it.
The F slur. I support you.
Wait,
I don't personally feel comfortable using the F slur because people have not kicked my ass while yelling the F slur at me. I've been called dyke a number of times. I've been called dyke all day long.
Can we do a find and replace for dyke?
There's, you want me to say dyke? You want me to think that LaRouche is calling Henry Kissinger a dyke?
No, I just said I want you to end like I've heard about an R slur renaissance.
Oh yeah, everybody's using the R slur.
I feel like
you want to bring you
should just like you could just go down a checklist and do them all.
Just doing all the slurs. We'll have one episode where David makes me read a bunch of slurs. Apparently, yeah, that's great. Okay, I'm just going to say F slur. So, here's the quote. Henry A. Kissinger is not a Jew, but an F slur. The problem with Kissinger is that of the flaming fascistic F slur.
I'm sorry, Natalie. You lost so much power. Just go, like...
I can't bring myself to do it. It just feels wrong for me. Roy, I feel like it's gendered, is the thing. And it's not my gender that gets called this slur. You know what I mean?
Are you? Should I read?
No. So, right. So, whatever.
You lost
fascistic F slur.
No, I'm sorry. Come on.
It's so strong. No. So, okay, Roy M. Cohn, who is justly hated by most of the ordinary homosexuals in the United States, and a number of those from other nations. Similarly, Henry A. Kissinger is no ordinary, common, garden variety of homosexual. His heathen sexual inclinations are merely an integral part of a larger evil. To understand the kind of F slur Henry Kissinger is, what Roy Cohn is, think back to Emperor Nero and his court. That is the kind of F slur Henry Kissinger is. That kind of F slurritry. Destroy Rome. Will you permit also to destroy the United States?
We can use like a Patreon only bonus feature.
It's not a word
Okay.
It's not a me. I don't feel like that word's for me. I don't like using it.
I feel
like I need a gay man to say that slur in particular.
I'll find a...
You'll find a gay man to read this.
You know what? I'm just gonna
cunty Valley Girl voice for.
I'm just gonna like walk down Los Feliz and just be like, "Listen, are you an F slur?
Are you a flaming fascistic F slur?
We need you to record 2 minutes."
I mean, it's wild, but this kind of gives you the idea of how LaRouche is right.
Wait, did he also say that Kissinger wasn't a Jew?
Yeah, he said he's non-Jew. He's not a Jew.
So you
just a homosexual.
You can't be both?
No, there are no gay Jews. Not an ordinary, common, garden variety homosexual. He has heathen sexual inclinations. They're integral to a larger evil.
First of all,
I love the term F slurritry that I came up with on this.
No, I wanted the fucking. I've heard you say some offensive fucking things in my day.
Like what?
But I'm not going to call you out on the
I'm
internet.
not saying slurs.
No slurs.
No
But
slurs.
I've heard. I think we call them car thoughts.
Car thoughts, where I'm like, you know who needs to die?
But I'm just saying.
Everyone who ever drove a Scion.
This
You
is-
know what I mean?
You just like this is like a bucket list thing for me now. Is getting you to say
I don't say slurs.
you will get.
I remember one time somebody was like, you better be careful, Madeline. Twitter histories are public. And I'm like, search it, you fucking psycho. I don't say slurs and I never have.
This is like you with Chris or X or whatever. You were in West Hollywood, I guess.
Yeah?
The two men.
No, we were in Los Feliz.
You were in Los Feliz.
Yeah.
For some reason, that felt West Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think I just did a homophobia slightly.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, the story is that I was with one of my exes and we were walking down the street and he was upset about some life experience I had had that he hadn't had. And I was like, you've had all sorts of life experiences I haven't had. For example, I've never done meth. And as they said this, we were walking by two older gay men standing in front of a Jeep. And one of them turned to me and went, oh, honey, everyone's done meth.
Everyone has done that. Everyone.
And then I amended it and I was like, I've never intentionally done meth. I'm confident I've accidentally done meth a number of times.
Oh, yeah, but also doing it and
You feel like it's a real life experience.
it's sometimes you do it for
intentional
the
meth.
story.
For the story, yeah. I'm not like a big drug person. Now I'm wondering what the most offensive thing in the car I've ever told you is. I'm not like a secret bigot. Like, what could it be? Who do I hate? What group of people am I hating?
Listeners weigh in on what
What group of people Madeline secretly hates? It's not the skincare girl.
this is.
It's
You
not the state of Minnesota.
no, all of that stuff. I feel like the skin like
You're making it sound like I'm a bigot.
oh yeah, no, you wouldn't even believe the mother.
I'm not. Like, there's nothing evil. I'm not secretly evil. Like, what am I saying?
This is
It's literally probably just like, you know who I would kill if I could get away with it?
yeah, I mean,
And then
but
it's
that's
somebody like relatively innocuous, but who's just annoying. Like, you know, like that lady.
I love that.
The Target commercial.
This is gonna get under your skin for so.
It's so
I'm
gonna get under
never
my
gonna
skin.
tell
You're
you.
never gonna tell me my worst car thoughts. The worst group of people I tried to obliterate from the planet hypothetically in the car once or twice. Huh.
You know, I feel like
Accountants?
Click and Clack
Click and clack.
retired many years.
Uh-huh.
We could just do this as a Patreon. We could be the new car talk and just say offensive shit.
What? Like, but our version of offensive shit.
You still won't let me make fun of people's physical appearance.
I will not. No. So our version of offensive shit is very milquetoast. My version of offensive shit is probably like, this man is not physically attractive and I feel bad for mocking him, but I loathe him, so I will mock him once.
Privately, apparently not around you because you won't let me do it,
No.
make fun of people's physical appearance all the time.
Oh my God. See, I could not do that. I am not doing that.
I think, like, not in a... Well,
There's no nice way to make fun of somebody's physical appearance. See, this is the thing. People on the internet think I'm secretly evil. My friend is here saying that he is oppressed because I won't let him mock people's appearances in private even.
yeah, I don't...
What kind of secret evil is coming out of me if these are my boundaries?
Oh, it's worse than anyone.
I'm like, you know who we should kill?
Mhm.
Kittens.
You do hate cats.
I'm not a big cat fan. That's true. I'm not a big cat fan.
But that, you're gonna...
You know, I'm about to live with a cat. I'm about to live with a cat. It's gonna happen. I'm
That,
cat.
honestly,
I like the cat.
I'm gonna do
Cat's
some
cool.
welfare checks on that fucking cat.
The cat's pretty cool. For a cat, it's pretty good. You know what? I lived with that cat too. That cat named Chicken that was insane. That was the feral cat my roommate and I found on the side of the road in Mississippi and drove back in the car with us. And the cat was deranged but obsessed with my roommate.
That cat was fine.
I loved that cat.
That cat was fine.
The first thing it did when we brought it into the house is it started trying to open all the doors with its paws.
You know who's cool?
Who?
Toby.
Toby's cool. Our friend Sarah has a cat. Toby,
Mhm.
very cool cat. See, I don't hate all cats. Not all cats.
Uh-huh.
Not all cats.
You won't believe the other things she says, not all.
Oh!
Uh,
You know, I think the most toxic thing about me is sometimes I defend men.
no, I wasn't talking about men.
Not all. Geminis? The Instagram account? The Instagram meme account about astrology? Not all Geminis?
Oh, is that I don't know.
I don't know. You know, whatever.
Okay,
Okay, so, we're going to figure out what I'm secretly evil about. We're going to figure it out. So, meanwhile, LaRouche is out here saying the weirdest shit you've ever heard in your life about Henry Kissinger and Emperor Nero. Not a Jew. Very, very gay. He's talking about how all these people are gay and how it's an evil gay plot to destroy the United States, which honestly, Pride Month sounds very sick, very cool. Evil gay plot to destroy the United States. Hey!
You know what? That sounds like a, Pussy Hat adjacent Etsy dropship.
Do you think so? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
It's a little cheese. All right. So, meanwhile, high-level Pentagon officials like Dr. Richard, what is this guy's name? DeLauer appeared in all of these interviews in LaRouche media, different newspapers and whatever. And, these guys were super right-wing. They'd say things like, gurus are taking advantage of food stamps to green America? That was a Dr. Richard DeLauer quote. And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck cultural experience this is referencing. This is wild.
I think that means that your crunchy hippie guy is food stamps are usable at hippie food co-ops.
Oh, they're taking all of the food stamps and they're going to co-ops with them. They're grain in bulk.
Yeah.
Because they're fascists.
And they're putting
love being gay with Henry Kissinger.
In reusable bags.
Horrible. The horrors. The environmentalists. Also remember, they weren't just working with the conservatives, though. They were working with the Democratic Party, too. So lots of LaRouche political candidates, again, were running as Democrats. They also had some nonpartisan things that they were doing, like the Fusion Energy Foundation. So this was a scientific think tank and lobbying group that worked in tandem with the Star Wars space lasers thing.
Were they really? Was it nuclear energy?
Yeah, basically they were super interested in nuclear energy. So they reached out to former Nazi scientists who had worked on V-2 rockets, jet aircrafts, and Nazi versions of the Atom.
Okay, is this not sounding like a fucking Thomas Pynchon novel?
It is.
Wild. You were like, if anyone ever talks to you about Thomas Pynchon, say next. This is why you read the fucking thing, because then when LaRouche comes along, you're like,
I have a reference point for this. Yeah. Okay, all right, maybe you're right. So this led to LaRouche and his wife Helga getting this social following amongst retired West German military dudes, including ones who had come under fire for ordering their underlings to respect Nazi war criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just befriended Nazis all over the place.
Weren't we doing that? We
were doing that.
We were this.
They were privately doing that as well. The government was doing that, and LaRouche was like, yeah, we'll do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So Nazi soldiers, speaking of us doing it, who had been brought to the United States under Operation Paperclip.
To be clear, what I meant when I said weren't we doing that weren't you and I specifically.
Me and Dave. This is part of David's plot to paint me as a secret car bigot.
I will. This is my favorite. If you've had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
You will talk about celebrities and you'll be like, I don't get. Isn't the whole thing that she's pretty, but she's like,
I don't, it's celebrity. I do have a real thing against celebrity culture. I actually am one of the most secretly hostile people towards celebrity culture.
That's not but I just always, it's always very funny because it's the closest you'll get.
So the closest I'll get to this actually has to do with Angelina Jolie. When I was a child, I thought Angelina Jolie was hideous.
Because of the mouth?
I don't know, but when she would come on the screen, I was repulsed by her.
Because of the mouth?
Maybe the mouth, I'm not sure. But then I as an adult came to learn that people thought she was very, very, very beautiful, and I was so perplexed. But another person that I thought, this was actually a really nice thing about me when I was a really little kid, I thought that Tori Spelling should not be on TV because we were all making fun of her.
Who's Tori Spelling?
Aaron Spelling's daughter.
What the fuck? Who the fuck is... How did you think I was going to know who Aaron Spelling?
Okay, Aaron Spelling produced all those shows like 90210 and all these 90s super popular shows. You think I know
who the producer of 90210
is? You know Taylor Swift songs. Yes, I think you know who Aaron Spelling is.
Yeah,
So Aaron Spelling produced all of these TV shows that were super popular in the 90s. And when his daughter got old enough, he started casting her in parts in them.
Uh-huh.
So when I was a little kid, though, I thought that Tori Spelling was so unattractive that the only reason she was on TV was so that everybody could make fun of how unattractive she was. And I was really little. I was like 4 or 5, and I would cry every time she came on TV because I thought it was so mean. And my dad would be like, what do you mean it's mean? And I was like, she is not supposed to be on TV, and we all know it. They're doing it so we can laugh at her. So I was so not into Tori Spelling's appearance. I thought it was universally understood that she was a hideous monster, and everybody watching on TV, we were supposed to laugh at how ugly she was, but I felt bad about it. I was like, it's so mean.
So even as a 4-year-old, you wouldn't make fun of someone's appearance. This is...
But the irony is that I was the only one who thought she was ugly. Everyone else is like, she looks like a normal person.
So you were just like, my standards are so high.
My standards were bizarre. Okay, I'm going to show you Tori Spelling.
Can I make fun of her?
No.
God damn it.
I couldn't even as a child. This is the woman that I was like, she is so hideously ugly. She's here for us to mock her.
Wait, that's a very conventionally attractive blonde lady.
Yeah, she's fine. She's normal. I, as a kid, though, was like...
She does there's like a, I want to say, no, you won't let me.
No, don't say anything mean. I did enough damage to Tori Spelling in my childhood.
You did nothing to Tori... Okay, in that picture, I feel like that there's some editing going on in the picture area.
Yeah, you know, I've always been a sensitive child.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, she's just a normal lady. Okay, so that's something mean about me.
That's not mean.
It was very mean.
That's not mean. Like...
It was very cruel of me to say about Tori Spelling. I'm just going to say, I still feel guilt about that.
You feel...
I feel guilty what I said about Tori Spelling.
Has anyone ever recommended like an analyst to you as just like a phenomenal, like...
You love analysis. It's not for me.
I would even settle for like dialectic behavioral therapy or one of like nonsense bullshit things.
Not to brag about anything, but I've done a little.
Because the guilt thing is crazy.
I know the guilt is
fucking insane.
I know. I once dated like a cool hot idiot who was like, if you ever want Madeline to do anything, it's so easy. You just like make Madeline feel super guilty.
Yo, Madeline, you should feel really bad about not helping me form a weird LaRouche cult.
Oh my God.
You suck. You're not supportive.
I'm a bad friend. Yeah. So, all right. So LaRouche and his wife are getting in with all the Nazis. And, you know, remember, like David referenced, Nazi soldiers had been brought to the United States under something called Operation Paperclip, where the U.S. government was like, you should come over here and help us do technology. We'll give you new names. We'll get you out of Germany as long as you help us. So one of these people was Arthur Rudolph, who's also associated with LaRouche. He was an engineer who developed NASA's Saturn V, Saturn V, I'm guessing, moon rocket. But he was accused by the Justice Department of working slave laborers to death to make weapons from 1943 to 1945. And the LaRoucheites came to his defense and were like, this is an evil communist plot against him.
Also, it's totally sick that they worked all of those people to death.
Yeah, probably.
We love it.
They probably loved it. So Rudolph had literally also been in the Nazi Party and had been an SA stormtrooper.
Uh-huh.
So he was like big bad Nazi guy, and the LaRoucheites were like, we love this Nazi. And the United States government was like, I mean, we'll take this Nazi.
Yeah, I don't, like, I feel like at this point, I'm like, other than like the, like, scamming old people out of their money thing, I'm not saying...
They've been largely harmless?
Well, no, I'm not harmless, but I'm like, they have been maligned as a fringe group.
Oh my gosh.
They are the mainstream of American politics.
They are doing anti-Semitism, homophobia.
I'm just saying.
Nazi. They love Nazi.
Show me the lie. They are doing mainstream American politics.
That is mainstream American politics. That's true. So the LaRouche kind of group was largely taken seriously in the scientific and political world. But by 1986, they had become the target of multiple criminal investigations for defrauding elderly people in fundraising institutes. And so a lot of the scientific community actually came to their defense. So the July 1987 issue of Spectrum, which was published by the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, actually had a full-page ad that was signed by a bunch of prominent scientists and engineers from Star Wars.
Slippage there.
Scientists.
Prominent
scientists and engineers from the Star Wars.
What kind of scientists were they?
Scientific Zionists. From the Star Wars-linked corporations and laboratories who had done that whole Reagan project, right? Protesting the government shutdown of the FEF for being a part of it, their little science group. So the ad's signatories included 22 employees of Lawrence Livermore, which was Dr. Stephen Dean of Fusion Power Associates, kind of company, I guess. This was like a Star Wars contractor who was one of the biggest ones working with the government at the time. And these letters were sent out defending the FEF, which was LaRouche's kind of science group, remember, the Fusion Energy Foundation, and calling the government's charges, quote, quite far-fetched. Spoiler alert, they were not far-fetched. It was really happening, and there was a lot of evidence. And they also urged a lot of kind of Fusion Power Associate members to take action and contacting LaRouche's aide, Carol White, to help with this. So there's like all these people like, no, we love the LaRouche
And it's
group.
because the nuclear power thing? And
Yeah, it's because they had started this Fusion Energy Foundation that was quite popular amongst the science community. And the science community was heavily infiltrated in this era with Nazis.
Wait, I gotta ask a question. Okay, because that, like, if you're like Joe Schmo scientist,
Yeah. Dr. Joe Schmo, if you will.
Dr. Joe,
Dr. Schmo.
Dr. Schmo. No, we're on first name basis.
You know each other.
But and it's like you're like not a Nazi scientist. You're just like, I went to Champaign-Urbana for undergrad before transferring to Cornell, and now I teach in like a community college physics department.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, wouldn't you also like you'd be like, the environment's gonna die also.
I don't know, because I think there's a lot of like corporate science guys.
Okay.
We see that today. It's like there's all sorts of technology made by like corporatists who are like, who gives a fuck? I'm making science for evil. Look at all of the defense contracting department.
So so they're like, we don't care about the environment.
No,
we're gonna be on Mars.
Yeah, we're doing space lasers. Who gives a fuck?
We're gonna make a Dyson sphere.
Exactly.
I love a Dyson sphere.
Yeah. So there's this going on. You know, there's also LaRouche is getting super involved around this time too in local politics, and there's something LA specific.
Oh, fun.
So in 1986, people call them LaRouchians and LaRoucheites off and on. LaRoucheites were involved in a homophobic AIDS campaign in Los Angeles out of their Los Feliz-based office, which is literally one neighborhood over from us. Which is wild. And they put a prop on the ballot called Proposition 64, which was specifically about AIDS legislation. So the AIDS legislation, I'm pretty sure what they were saying is they wanted to increase basically discrimination against gay people to help control the AIDS epidemic.
Oh, okay,
Like,
okay.
we gotta keep gay people out of everywhere.
That
Keep them home. Get them out of here. And the name that remember the LaRouche groups would have different names and they'd operate as like fronts? This one was called Panic.
This would also make a great like Frankie Goes to Hollywood style T-shirt.
Panic. Keep gay people out.
I'd put that on my Etsy account.
Maybe don't put keep, just gay people out, and then it has two meanings.
Yeah.
You know, like, woo! Yeah. So, by this point, LaRouche was a relatively well-known figure, and there was a Washington Post article from 1986 that, like, was interviewing people, like, what do you think about LaRouche? And there was a retired business executive named Jem Wilson who said, quote, anything LaRouche is for, I'm against. There was a screenwriter around LA named Mike McDonald who called LaRouche in the article, quote, a maniac, and his initiative regarding the Proposition 64 to keep gay people out of everywhere, and his initiative would create a public health disaster.
I love that they did it in Los Feliz.
Yeah, I know that's where they center themselves, yeah.
That's famously, like, the home of, like, the most straight people.
There's some gays.
No, I mean, there are.
You just don't think it's the gayest place.
No, I do think it's one of the gayer places.
It's pretty gay.
There was the Gay Inn in Griffith Park in the 60s.
Yeah, see?
There was, Black Cat is...
Black Cat's more Silver Lake, but also Circus of Books was there. It's not too far away. That was just down Los Feliz Hillhurst or...
Yeah, no,
not Los Feliz.
No, it's on Sunset.
Yeah, just pretty close to like Vermont or Hillhurst, though, not too far.
Yeah.
This is boring for anybody not from LA. But yeah, so they had that going on. They'd be at the super local level doing things like that. They'd also be doing international politics, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they helped out the South African Bureau of State Security.
So they were like, we love apartheid.
We love apartheid. Yeah. They also were forming like different LaRouche groups in different countries around the planet. That's obviously why I got the email that kicked all this off from the Italian communist, who was like, they've been all over Europe. You don't even know. They founded something called the International Caucus of Labor Committees, the ICLC, which had political parties in West Germany, France, Italy, Sweden, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and even more than that. And each of those, just like the NCLC here in the U.S., had its own array of different front groups as well.
Wait, so he's taken over the world.
I mean, that's the plan. So here's the caveat. What would you guess the membership of all of them internationally is around this point?
I'm going to say under 10 grand.
Yeah, under 10,000. That's good. The combined membership internationally of everybody was under 1,000 people.
Oh.
Yeah, they were just remarkably effective.
Wait, how can you even be international at that point? That, like, I'm assuming, like, the Peru group is just, like, one guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Who's just, like...
awaiting orders, Captain.
I'm the only guy who got settled in Peru after World War II from Germany. No, there are a lot of Peru, but...
But their influence was huge, remember. And a lot of people often say that their high level of motivation and their financial support from like the U.S. fundraising. And also remember, they're getting some weird covert support from the military, the government, and trade union officials. That all gave them the ability to like move like a much larger organization. So in the book about him that we've been referencing as our primary source in the first episode and this episode, King, the author, says, the result was the world's best organized, wealthiest, and ideologically most sophisticated neo-fascist operation of the 1980s, ruled not from the jungles of Paraguay, as in B-grade movies, but from a country estate 30 minutes from Washington, D.C. Now, they also had some interesting relationships with people that are just worth pointing out. Manuel Noriega.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they helped him out a bit. Similarly, Carlos Marcelo, do you know who that is?
No.
He was a pretty big New Orleans crime lord. They helped him out. They had a good relationship with him.
If you tell me one more thing and then make fun of me for making a Thomas Pynchon reference.
Okay, well,
this is not Thomas Pynchon.
The next one. It's John DeLorean.
Oh, the car
guy.
Who, I think, he got popped for money laundering and was like a big cokehead.
Yeah, right. Well, the LaRoucheites loved him, helped him out a whole bunch.
They were like, we love stainless steel cars that what was it, 85 miles an hour? How fast?
Is that how fast it went?
No,
the DeLorean?
And Back to the Future.
Oh, I don't remember.
If this thing can get up to 80 something.
It's going through time. Yeah. There were some like oil guys out of Oklahoma they had business relationships with. There were racketeers in Detroit they had business relationships with. And they did, like I mentioned earlier, have a relationship with the Teamsters. The former Teamster boss, Jackie Presser, was in pretty tight with the LaRoucheites. And the truth squads that the Teamsters had, they were provided by the LaRoucheites. And their goal was to help what they called hoodlum elements maintain control of, quote, restive locals.
The Teamsters have a storied reputation.
They definitely do. So LaRouche
some Teamsters are rad as fuck.
It's a mixed bag.
It's a mix, but some Teamsters, like, obviously, we talked about this in the UFW episode. Didn't get along with the UFW.
Right.
The UFW also mixed bag.
Yeah. Well, they ran into some legal trouble, obviously, with all these dealings.
They were like, how do you square South and Central American dictators and New Orleans crime bosses and stay on the right side of the law?
And John DeLorean. And racketeering out of Detroit.
Maybe.
And Nazi scientists. They're all over the place.
Do you think Lynn knew where Jimmy Hoffa's body was buried?
Probably. I bet. Yeah. So at times, LaRouche would encounter legal trouble because they were doing a lot of financial grifting, to be perfectly frank. And when faced with criminal or civil proceedings, he would claim he was being politically persecuted, because remember, he was running for office all the time, and then he would just sue any agency that investigated him for violating his civil rights. And he would also like launch these smear campaigns against creditors who were like, you were supposed to pay me back. And then he would like seek to defame them. Finally, though, in October of 1988, LaRouche was indicted on charges of defrauding lenders over $30 million. Remember, he got over $200 million, but he was indicted in charges of defrauding over $30 million. But even during this process, fundraising drives were still bringing in massive amounts of cash every week.
Wait, why? Who was like
The elderly were still donating.
the dumbest old people in the world?
And also remember, he had all these front organizations.
Yeah,
They all had different names, so you weren't really sure who you were donating to. So in December of that year, 1988, LaRouche and 6 aides were convicted on fraud and conspiracy charges, and LaRouche was incarcerated. But he continued to run for political office throughout the 90s and do political theory work in the public sphere while in prison. Fun fact, the post-Soviet Russian government actually came to visit LaRouche in prison.
So, like Yeltsin-ass motherfucker?
Yeah, it was like those kind of people, and they were like launching this whole like free LaRouche campaign, like he was a political prisoner.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but the post-Soviet, so not the communists, obviously.
No, like the people who dismantled the Soviet state for parts.
Exactly, yes. So, you know, LaRouche lives a weird life after incarceration. In 2019, pretty recently, he died. His widow, though...
That's the weirdest fucking thing a person can do.
Is die?
Oh my god. No, he led a weird life. In 2019, he died.
Well, that was like a then he died. Then in 2019, he died.
After
you don't
the
like my pacing? Okay.
After the dying.
After the dying. Well, his widow carried on in his name. So he's still kind of around. The Schiller Institute, remember, that is still run by Helga Zepp LaRouche. And she actually hosts webcasts pretty regularly.
She's a streamer.
Yeah, she's a streamer. You can go on the Schiller Institute website and you can see some of these. So there was one where she was basically doing some love letter to Donald Trump. You know, they're pretty pro-Trump. The Schiller Institute pushed this idea that impeachment efforts against Trump were part of a coup attempt and said that the Schiller Institute's goals were to crush that coup attempt and bring the United States into what they called the, quote, new paradigm.
I'm just saying, like, show me one thing, actually including grifting old people, that is not within the mainstream of American politics.
Maybe, like, I was going to say the both sidesism, but it is. Maybe the courting black nationalists? That's a little fringe.
I feel like...
Courting the street gangs of Bed-Stuy?
I feel like disingenuously courting or taking advantage of black disenfranchisement and the rhetoric of black disenfranchisement.
Very American.
It
is very mainstream, you're right.
So far as I can tell, the motherfuckers just like...
They're just normal Americans.
They're just good-hearted, well...
homophobic, Nazi-loving, racist.
Show me what, like, they... like.
I mean, you kind of do have, like, a hot but not hot take here, which is that they were able to play so well with so many different areas of American life because this was not even the undercurrent of American political, like, realities. This was the overt reality of American politics.
No, I mean, and is.
And is, still to this day.
Right,
exactly.
Like, it's like slightly Funhouse Mirror in the sense that they're, like, kind of kooky about how they, like...
Yeah, the aesthetics are just a little wacky.
Like, if they had just, like, if LaRouche didn't have the weird, like, Trotskyist background, he would just be, like a slightly weird rural Illinois senator or some shit.
That's kind of true. So the most recent webcast I saw by Helga Zepp LaRouche was pretty interesting. And I think, again, if you like understand this, you kind of get Trump's foreign policy a little more. So I think that probably the LaRoucheites, if I had to guess, are aggressively courting the Trump administration. And in her webcast, Helga Zepp LaRouche was blasting the unprecedented escalation against China, defending China by talking about what was happening in the Xinjiang province, actually, and trying to counter slanders against China. explained how the repo crisis was a symptom of the collapse of the economic and financial system, which could only be reversed by implementing the policies of Lyndon LaRouche, mocked the declaration of a climate emergency by the EU as part of a full offensive to temporarily save banks while destroying what's left of the physical economy. They're super obsessed with the physical economy, which is obviously like manufacturing, tangible goods, etc. Transportation, construction, resource extraction. And it's just really interesting listening to their political positioning.
Wait, so they're like really they love China.
They like China.
Uh-huh.
They...
Wait, can you say it? Can you do the voice?
What?
Make China 2 syllables. Or 3 syllables.
No, whose voice is
Sorry,
it?
the Trump thing.
I don't listen to the news, so that's why I can't pronounce anything, and I can only read things and retain them.
You've never heard Trump talk about China.
I've probably heard Trump's voice like twice ever in my life.
Even so, like the Home Alone thing.
Yeah, it's like that kind of stuff. It's not like him now. Like I don't hear.
And like maybe an episode of The Apprentice accidentally.
I've never seen The Apprentice, but he definitely was in Home Alone, and he was in something else that I watched from the 90s where I'm like, oh shit, there he is.
Mm-hmm.
But Sex and the City maybe.
Oh, that makes sense for him.
I think he was in Sex and the City, yeah. But yeah, so their politics are really interesting to position. And you can see like Trump obviously politically is moving towards a multipolar kind of world.
Yeah, I mean like
foreign policy agenda. Right?
I think right, like
the Trump administration recognizes for whatever reason that we are heading towards a multipolar world reality where it's like not just the United States rules anything anymore. It's like, or everything anymore. It's like some sort of relationship has to be formed with China.
They do believe, however, that cash rules everything around me. But
I mean that's true. That's why this.
No, I mean like, but like that's not wrong. Yeah, I mean buoyed by a rhetoric of economic nationalism. Like it's a really funny where it's like, okay,
it's an interesting ideological position. It doesn't wrap neatly up into what we traditionally think of as conservative politics in the United States. And it definitely doesn't wrap up into Marxist politics. It's just this weird other position that's like a bastardization of everything.
I mean, okay, realistically, it seems like what's happening is that it is an improvised ideology.
It does kind of feel like
it feels like
it does actually.
People like whatever the fucking press secretary is this week comes out and is like doing yes and.
I mean, it's kind of true. I think you're right. Now, here we have an option. We are almost 2 hours into the episode.
Okay.
We have the 2020s and the legacy of LaRouche today. I could probably wrap it up in 30 minutes if we speed run through the rest.
And I just shut my goddamn mouth.
You shut the fuck up, David. Or we could have a nice episode about it that allows for discussion and references next week, which could be interesting.
I think we do that.
Okay, I think we might do that because we're going to talk about the modern contemporary American legacy of LaRouche and why this is relevant to us today here in the United States. It would be nice for us to also do a little bit of discussion about Donald Trump's policies as they relate to the LaRouche platform, to investigate the LaRouche platform more today as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think that is what is going to wrap up our episode over here. Can't wait to hear about my secret bigotry.
Over on the Patreon, like, mouth. Gonna say all the slurs.
David's going to hold a gun to my head and make me say slurs on the Patreon.
I'm not, I don't have to hold a gun to your head.
You think I secretly want it? Like I want to say a slur so
I think
bad. Like I want to say the F slur so bad.
I think if I put like a nicotine patch on you, it would be like my freaky nicotine dreams.
And I'd just be saying slurs?
Like that would be
everyone ugly?
Yes.
I'd be like, this ugly F slur. Look at how ugly.
Say it.
No, I did not almost say it. What are you talking about?
That fucking dream, dude.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with you. You just got some real kooky energy today. It's the nicotine patch.
That's the fucking nicotine patch.
Yeah.
I put one of the like step ones on, which is like I think it's 21 milligrams.
What is the step process here? I've never smoked.
This is, yes, as you have smoking as in punk, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. 14 when I said that.
Okay. Well, So, which is like if you smoke like a pack a day, which
Is that what you were smoking?
no, I was smoking
Okay.
like half a pack a day.
Okay. How many cigarettes are in a pack?
20.
It's not a lot. 10 cigarettes a day?
Yeah.
How many hours are you awake? 18?
Sure.
So you're smoking a cigarette every almost
Well, no, what happened?
hour? Like every hour and a half?
I mean, sort of. Yeah. So, what you did for the first part of the day, you're not smoking. Maybe you have one with your coffee.
I was going to say, I feel like if I was a smoker, I'd like one in the morning.
You have one with your coffee.
Okay, I think I'd like
And then you go to probably about 2 or 3.
Uh-huh.
And then you're like, now I'm gonna have another cigarette.
Okay.
And then you're working, you're doing shit,
Uh-huh.
right? And so if you can, you're smoking while you work.
Oh.
You got your ashtray,
Uh-huh.
you got your cup of coffee, you
Uh-huh.
got your laptop,
You're smoking and working, baby.
and then you go out.
Indoors.
God, I wish.
Goes down. Just cooking in that apartment.
There
full of smoke.
There used to be a bar in Olympia. Well, presumably there still is, but it's not owned by the same guy. Called Bin Wars. It's in that song.
It's in the song.
It's in the song.
We'll play that. We'll put that song on the Patreon. It's a good song.
And Tom, the former proprietor, genuinely R.I.P., lovely man. Would let people smoke inside. And the first time I went in, I think I was 18, 19 years old, and I saw everyone smoking. And so I put my pack of cigarette on the table, and he just walked over and he put down a giant chunk of metal in front of me. And he said, "It's a muffler off of a Ford."
Okay.
And that was my ashtray.
Oh, okay. I get it.
That guy
I get it.
rocked. But no, the 21 milligram thing fucked me up. Like I had to a friend of mine had to help me home from a cafe.
Oh my God.
That shit fucking sucked.
Okay, I'm putting this on our Patreon to go along with 1 minute and 58 seconds on the main this week.
It's called The Sky Opened Wide Like the Tide. I can't believe that I fucking remember that. I haven't listened to them in.
And I wanted to know, where are my friends tonight?
I don't like that song.
I like the song. I think it's good.
I don't.
I'm writing it. Madeline loves it. David hates it.
I don't. Most of the Olympia stuff that wasn't like. I don't know. Most of the Olympia stuff that was like that shit.
Yeah.
Bad.
Bad? I think it's adorable.
No, this is.
2004 this song came out.
All the if it feels like ukuleles. And
I don't think it feels like ukuleles.
Someone with a melodica.
There's no melodica.
No, but there's a spiritual melodica.
I don't think there's a spiritual melodica. I think you're out of your mind.
It's like
David's nicotine patch is taking over. We got spiritual melodicas, we got fictitious slurs.
Not fictitious.
I'm not saying slurs. Are you saying slurs? Who's saying slurs?
I'm sorry, you turned into Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay, Jerry Seinfeld's definitely saying slurs. Okay, that guy loves a slur, and I know it. I'm calling it.
You know it?
I know it. I just know it inside of me.
So you were on the comedians in cars getting coffee one day.
Do you think I'm Googling it. Has Jerry Seinfeld publicly said a slur? Do you think so?
I did. He gets the thing people yell at him about is the underage woman, right?
The child he dated? She was like 16 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? The problem is that whenever it comes up, it's that guy who played Kramer who yelled the N-word at everybody.
I thought, for some reason, he was anti-Semitic, and that was the thing about them. Because it was like...
Michael Richards from Seinfeld. I think he said the N-word.
I know.
But,
one of your best friends.
Who?
Michael Richards.
Michael Richards?
You're hanging out with him all the time.
Kramer? What are you talking about?
When you say the slurs.
Oh, my God.
No,
Well, good news. I'm not racist, Richards said while discussing the racial slurs he used that night.
Had I gotten you to say the F slur while you were reading the Lyndon LaRouche quote, and then just like the clips from this would have been great because it would have been that, and then you saying "Good news, I'm not racist."
It's really building a case. Well, you know what? I can't find it. I bet it's in there.
I don't think
I'm slur jacketing Jerry Seinfeld.
this is, every accusation is a confession.
Whoa.
And on that note, everybody,
All right, that's the end of part 2. Join us next week for part 3, where I definitely, again, will not be saying a slur.
only on the Patreon.